Have you ever betrayed someone? Or have you ever been divided in loyalty? What if he was raised a Pharisee? And what if the Pharisee met Jesus? And even though he even used you for miracles and stuff, yeah, it was hard for you to give up, how do you say it, what your parents imparted to you. I think Judas had some of that. I've always seen Judas as someone, he was the thief, he carried the bag. But what if he stole from Jesus and gave it as an offering to the traditional religion? What if he gave it to the Pharisees? I mean, he couldn't spend it. He's like Achan in the Old Testament. You couldn't wear the goodly Babylonian garment. You couldn't spend the shekels in front of him. And Judas was traveling with Jesus. So he wasn't, if he stole, what was he using it for? Because he couldn't use it on himself in an obvious way. Anyway, just consider that for a second. But the point of all this is faulty conversions. And in his darkest hour, he betrayed the Lord. He walks into the temple and he throws down the money and confesses. What should the priest have done? But if he had been a godly priest, he would have mentored this guy out of his condemnation of himself, and he would have brought him to the Lord, because he sat in Moses' seat. It was his job to bring people to that place, to be a liaison, a go-between. But he said, the priest's literal answer was, what is that to us? Consider Judas coming in with a sacrifice, confessing his sin, turning the money back over, and repenting and fulfilling all of that. Would God have cast him out because he betrayed him? Peter betrayed him. The Pharisees betrayed him. Every one of us has betrayed him. Peter betrayed him 3 times and found salvation. All Judas did was take some money, gave it back, and showed him where he was that night. And his sin is so horrible compared to all of ours. It's not. It's faulty priesthood. That answer that man gave him, what is that to us? Shut the door to God. On Judas's part, his failure was choosing wrong, a lack of faith. By faith, he should have departed. Faith works by love. At some point, the connection, maybe it was the stealing, but the love connection was never made. And therefore, the faith was never, it's good enough for a miracle. It's good enough for him to be sent out with the disciples and they did miracles. But it wasn't good enough to maintain. It wasn't, his faith failed because he went back. He chose something else. The priest failed because there was a chance for true repentance, true salvation, but they were failures and faulty as well. Consider that. The condemnation, he judged himself after the priesthood was found faulty.